Hey guys, it's Ann here at Proper Fit. Today we're going to be learning how to make winter hats. As you can see, we have a few different styles ranging from the shallower short kind to the thicker band, and with the pattern we're using you can make every one of these styles with the same one pattern. Now as far as the fabric goes, really as thick as you want the hat is how thick you want the fabric. The pattern doesn't call for a specific thin or thick, so it's really up to you on what you want. There is a pattern available for download in the description box below, so if you'd like to do that you can print it off and get started right away, which is what we're going to do, and go on to the first step, which is cutting out the fabric. Alright, so here we are at the first step, cutting out the fabric. Here is our pattern. Ours is cut out here on foam board, a little bit thicker, easier to trace. So if this is a project that you're planning on doing multiple times, I would recommend taking your paper pattern and tracing it on something thicker, a little bit easier to trace. So this is the shortest pattern, the Watchman cap, and it is about 17 inches tall, and 18 inches is a half a yard. So if you're wondering how much fabric to get, if you want a short hat, go with the half a yard. If you're thinking a taller cap, all that really needs to be done is extended in the middle of the pattern. So you don't add to the top of these, you add to the middle, which I'll show you the details on how to do that once we get into tracing it. So if you're looking to do a taller hat, you'll want to go with maybe 22 inches, or you can play with how tall to make that. You want to make sure that the stretch of the fabric goes from side to side, not up and down. Also, the fold line here, the fabric is folded over. They're not two separate pieces. One of the sides of the pattern is going to have to be on that fold line. You'll just place it right there, just like that. Alright, now if we wanted to do a thicker band hat, a taller hat, the easiest way to go about doing that, instead of tracing it all out at once, what you'll want to do is trace out one half, bottom half, top half, whichever is easiest. Trace out the bottom, stop at the same point on each side, mark it, and then decide how much taller you want the hat and move it up that far. So you take your measurement out, measure how far up you want it. You want to make it 3 inches taller. Take it, move it up to that point, 3 inches up, and then you just simply continue on tracing from where you left off. And so then it just be 3 inches taller in the middle. But we are doing the Watchman cap style, the shorter, so we're going to leave it at this. So I'm just going to spin it around to show you the folded edge and how we're going to cut it. So just follow your trace lines and go ahead and cut. And voila, we have our pattern. One side folds completely open and the other side remains completely together. So fold it out, this is what your pattern should look like. Alright, now that we've got the fabric all cut out, we're moving on to step number 2, which is sewing. Now you want to start off with the right side facing up, fuzzy side underneath. And you'll want to fold in each outside section so that the right sides are together, just like that. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be making 2 stitches, one here and one here. Now if you feel more comfortable pinning it, keeping it in place while you sew, you may do that. I'll show how to do that. Just like that. And just do that on the top, not the bottom yet. We'll get to that later. Okay, so here we are at the sewing machine. We've got an industrial straight stitch sewing machine that does have a reverse lock stitch on it. And we're using a thicker needle. If you'd like a separate video explaining a little bit more about needles and the thickness and when not to use certain sizes, go ahead and comment below and we can see what we can do with that. Also, this right here is a magnetic guide that we have. It just snaps right on there and you adjust it to the gauge that you want and it'll stay there and the fabric just runs right along it as you sew. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and sew this edge and jump right over and sew this edge. Alright, and from there, these two are going to be sewn. These edges are going to be together now. And what we're going to do is these 2 peaks that we made, we're going to put those together. You can also pin this if that's easiest. Laid flat, it's going to look like this. So this is going to be open, here's the folded edge, and then this whole side is going to be open. So what we're going to do now is we're going to start on this side, right here. So all the way up here, across here, down this whole open edge side, all the way down here to this peak. And then we're going to jump over, just like we just did, and sew this open side. So the only open edges you're going to have on here will be these 2 sections right here. Okay, so sew here, all the way around, jump over and sew here. And voila, these are the open edges and we turn it inside out. Just like that. All right, now the next step is to make the fold up, that part. But before we do that, what we're gonna wanna do is we're going to want to secure the 2 layers of the hat together, so that they don't slip and slide apart from each other and the hat holds its structure. The way we're going to do that is we're going to make a stitch right on that seam line, so it'll be basically invisible. And that way the hat will stay secure. And again, you can pin at any point that makes you feel more comfortable. Pinning these together while you're feeding it under the presser foot, in my opinion, helps a lot. It's completely up to you. All right, now once you've got that secured underneath your presser foot and you've got it lined up right on that seam line. You can take out that pin and then just make about, I'd say, an inch and a half long of a stitch. And just go ahead. And it's fairly easy to keep right on track since there is already a seam. All right, and of course you can still see the red thread since we did purposely use a contrasting color. But just like that, now the inside won't move separately from the outside and your hat is far more structured. All right, and now the last and final step is to lift and flip up the brim. Right there. And now you can really do this to any length that you want, and if you want to keep it at this and you don't want it to change at all, you don't want to fold it down into a beanie, you want it to stay here, you definitely can go ahead, match up the seams at this point, and then just go ahead and feed it under and stitch right on that seam line just like we did on the top. But there you have it. That's the last step, and that is how you make a beanie. Okay, so that was how to make a winter hat, and this is what it looks like. Now, again, when folding up the brim, I found the easiest way to do it is to put it on and then kind of fold it up, look at it, see where you like it, and then you can go ahead and sew, or also just leave it down so then you can always convert it to a regular all the way folded down beanie. Alright, thanks for watching. I hope you had fun making your hats. And remember, if you have any suggestions as to what videos you'd like to see next, definitely comment down below on what you'd like to see, because we'd love to get you videos, more instructionals on what you'd like to see. Also, remember to subscribe and watch out for more videos. Bye.